themselves in another 3-1 hole after losing at home on Saturday to Phoenix. Paul George with 23 and 16. But once again, struggling from the field, shooting, 5 for 20, 1 for 9 from deep. Broussard, how much of the Game 4 loss do you put on Paul George?
Well, not as much as the Game 2 loss, obviously, when he missed those 2 free throws with 8 seconds to play that probably would have sealed the game. But, look, it's hard to totally kill him. He had 23 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, and they don't even have a chance to win without the way he played, all right, without him putting up those types of numbers. So, in a sense, Paul George is really just showing us and validating that he is who we thought he was. He's a second star at best on the championship team. And if he's your best player, which he is right now without Kawhi Leonard, then there's a cap on how far you'll go. And that cap is the conference finals, whatever conference he's in. That's just the level of player that he is. But then there's something else that's going on that does diminish him, and that is the poor foul shooting at the end of the game. I mean, this is a guy that's an 85% career foul shooter. I mentioned the 2 he missed in Game 2 at the end of the game, but last night, or this weekend, he misses 2 free throws with 6 seconds to play that could have pulled the game within 1 point. And then later he misses another free throw out of a pair. So he missed 3 of 4 foul shots in the last 6 seconds. A guy that shoots free throws that well, it tells you it's in his mind that the pressure gets to him. So in that sense, we felt that all along, but now it's being proven, because when you go to the foul line and you're a great free throw shooter and you become poor in the biggest moments, that clearly is mental. So,
nerves.
Like I said, he is what we thought he was. A 4-point game, you missed 3 free throws in the last 6 seconds. I'm putting the lion's share on you, because if you won that game as the star, you would get the lion's share of the credit.
Yeah, Nick, I'm going to throw it to you quickly. I just wanted to jump in here to talk about the free throws while Brew is on this. You know, if you go back to Game 2 and those pair of free throws that he missed down the stretch that probably cost them the game, what did you see? After the first free throw, he changed his routine. He changed his approach. We know, for me, when I was shooting, I know nobody cares. I used to do 1, 2, 3, spin the ball, then shoot. And then after, slap hands, teammates, get right back to the line. The game is on the line. You never show weakness. You never break your focus. You never break your concentration. After that first one, what did he see? You saw him go like this. And when he did that and he showed the stress and he leaned into, oh, that was a big shot that I just missed, then that's why he missed the second one. And that's what you're talking about, Chris, is that struggle and seeing him embrace this stress. And he needs to do the opposite and just stay focused no matter the outcome. You're seeing Giannis embrace it. You know, don't get too high, don't get too low. So Nick, I just wanted to jump in there talking about the free throw, because you can visibly see it in Game 2.
And to be fair, in Game 4, one of those was intentionally missed. But obviously, the point still holds. And the fact of the matter is this. I think Paul George has played, this is going to sound patronizing, his heart out, but he has also been crazy inefficient. So a few numbers to throw at you. That in Game 4, he shot 25% from the field. That was his 11th career playoff game, taking at least 15 shots, shooting 25% or worse from the field. In modern basketball, no one else has more than 7. He's got 11. Everyone else, you got to go back to like Bob Cousy, who couldn't dribble with his head up. He had like 12.5, but it doesn't matter. In modern basketball, no one has more than 7, and he has 11 of them. In this series, he is shooting a shade under 36% from the field. In conference finals history since the merger, the list of guys in a conference finals to take as many shots as Paul George and shoot as poorly is the following. Meta World Peace did it once. AI in 01 when he's the only guy on the team taking shots. Larry Bird in 88 when his back had gone out. And then D. Rose with LeBron guarding him and Paul Pierce with LeBron guarding him. That's it. Everyone has an excuse kind of there or a reason that you would understand it, except for Paul George, who's shooting 35.5% this series. With all that said, Wilds, I don't think he's played poorly. I understand the argument that, like, man, the Clippers were 0 for 12 in the fourth quarter of this game on shots with the chance to tie or take the lead. For the series, by the way, in the fourth quarter, they're 3 for 22 on shots to tie or take the lead. That's brutal. And a lot of that falls on your best player, who right now is Paul George. But he's not supposed to be their best player. The Suns are healthier.
Right, that's right.
And I think the Suns are clearly more rested. So I don't think this playoff run or this playoff series, like, makes him look worse in light of last year. I actually think it makes him look better, even though the raw numbers are pretty brutal from an efficiency standpoint.
Well, also, don't you think, Broussard, that he's forcing shots, that he knows he's the #1 offensive option, and he's probably taking shots that he wouldn't take otherwise, and that hurts his efficiency? He's not a scorer like Durant, who can just rise up over every player in the league and, like, drain a bucket. Right. He's forcing shots, he's forcing the offense because he has to carry more of his load. So, if anything, I thought that you were a little unfair, being like, this is a ceiling if he's your best guy. Like, all right, kind of, but he's supposed to have someone there. It's not like this team is built around Paul George's strength. He's supposed to be the Robin. So I don't know if it's totally fair. Like, all right, you assume the Batman role and carry us. Like, yeah, he's going to be less efficient. So I still like Paul George. I know this sounds weird. I like Indiana Pacers Paul George. I think I like him being his own guy and building a little team around him. Look, and maybe there's a ceiling to that too. Maybe he can't carry a team all by himself. But I just think it's an unfair sort of critique of the guy when it's like, all right, you're the Robin, now you have to be the Batman. Oh, you're not efficient anymore. I don't have the pieces around me.
So, and it also, though, but that is, what is fair to say is that there is a line of demarcation between the guys who can be the best guy on a team and the team still compete at the highest levels, and a guy who can't. But I got a question for Broussard to kind of tie the themes of the whole show together. And this isn't a trick question. It's just something I've been thinking about, and our great statistician, Dusty, texted to me. I was like, I was thinking of the same thing. Who would you rather have as your #2? Chris Middleton or Paul George?
Ooh.
It's not a bad question. I knew that was coming. I would say Paul George, because we hold Paul George. Chris Middleton has, Wilds mentioned it last segment, 15 points he averaged in the first 2 games or something like that. Like, he does this. He is inconsistent. Look at his playoff run this year. He is inconsistent, but we don't make a big deal out of it because he's Chris Middleton. We don't expect that much. He's made 2 All-Star games.
Right.
He was was he a second round draft pick? Paul George is a perennial all-star, and I think he's got a chance to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, so we do hold him to a higher standard, but that's because I think he's better than Middleton. Now, you're right. Middleton, when he gets hot, could George have done what Middleton did last night? Maybe not as often as Middleton's done it, because he does it here and there. But defensively, he gives you more than Middleton. He obviously is a better playmaker than Middleton. He rebounds better than Middleton. He's averaging almost 10 rebounds a game this series. So, no, I think Paul George is better than Chris Middleton. And I agree with what you said, Nick, about to Wilds. I don't think it's unfair, Wilds, to say there's a cap on how far you'll go if he's your best player. There is. You're not going past the conference finals, and that's good. That's not an insult.